back. In this video, we're going to make a projectile. So let's go ahead and start off with making an object that we can use to be our projectile. Here I'm going to make a 2D object, and I'm just going to start with a circle, and I will move it in a direction just so I can see it next to my character. I'm going to go ahead and scale this down. It's a little bit smaller, just so I can see it. For right now, I'm going to make it bright red. Okay, paying attention to the axes right here. This is red right there. Red means right, so the forward direction for this bullet, this projectile, is going to be to the right. So let's go ahead and get into our script graph, and let's create a projectile. Visual scripting, script graph, there we go, projectile. I am going to rename this projectile. Let's add a script machine, and we'll put the projectile onto here. Before I go any further, let's just take care of some components. Let's add a circle collider. Depending on what object you want to use for your projectile, you might want to use a box collider, whatever. I'm going to make this one a trigger, and this will help us out in the future. Let's add on the projectile tag. And going back to my projectile, making sure that it's tagged with projectile. We'll need that later. Okay, let's go ahead and edit this graph. Going into the object variables, let's go ahead and make move speed. Move speed is going to be a float. For right now, let's just say 8. Let's make another one called duration. This is going to be how long the projectile exists before it gets destroyed, and we will also make that a float. For right now, I'm going to say 1 second is long enough for this bullet to live. Okay, let's get this thing moving. So let's go into update. So remember, update is every frame. And right here, we're just going to say on update, we're going to transform dot translate, and we are going to do transform translate according to a translation. Let's go right here, and we want to move, we're using this translation right here, vector 2 dot right. Okay, so if you remember from when we did the player movement, if I attach this right here, vector 2 right is the vector 1 0, which means 1 meter to the right, 0 meters up, and that is going to happen every frame on this computer. That's going to be about 600 times per second, so that is going to make our bullet fly very, very quickly to the right. So let's go ahead and add a multiply from math generic, and I am going to multiply that times time.delta time. Okay, so now if I put that there, time.delta time is going to make it move 1 meter per second instead of per frame. So I'm just going to take that multiply, get another multiply, and we're going to say multiply that times our move speed. And we'll attach that right there. And that is enough that it will get our bullet moving. Let's go ahead and save that, and let's try it. If that works, we should see this bullet fly off the screen at about 8 meters per second. Whee! There it goes. Okay. That might be a little slow, but I think that's good for now. Let's go ahead and get back into our graph. And let's make it destroy itself. That's simple enough. I'm just going to go to start on the first frame that this exists. That's what start does. So on the first frame that it exists, we're going to tell it to destroy itself after a given amount of time. So we're going to look for destroy. Okay, sorry, let me delete that again. I want to make sure that I talk about that. Destroy. Right here, we're going to do game object, destroy object, and T. The T is for time. So there we go. Oh, I missed. Okay, so this object right here is the object that we want to destroy, and right now it's not destroying any object. So the object that we wanted to destroy is this. And then this field right here is how long we want it to wait. We're going to wait for duration. We'll just drop that in right there. So now this, I'm going to spread this out just a little bit so I can see. This is going to allow us to wait for a certain amount of seconds before we destroy. And this is going to move us. So let's get out of here. And if I push play, okay, I can see that moved for 1 second before it destroyed. Okay, so from there you can adjust our values if we like. Let's go ahead before we go any further and give this a different appearance. So what I can do is jump over to a art program. And I'm just going to do this really quickly. Here we are at Piscal. And I am just going to make a very quick projectile that's facing in a direction. So I will make just a straight line right here. There we go. And then just curve this down. Okay, there I've got a nice little bullet. I'm going to export that. Download. There we go. And I'm going to rename this bullet before I go any further, because it's always nicer when my stuff is named. Okay, I'm going to drag this into my sprites. Okay, so now I can go ahead and take my projectile, and I'm just going to drag this directly onto the projectile. And you can see here that the projectile's over here, but the bullet's over here. This gives me the opportunity to actually move things the way I want them. So I'm just going to move this and just place it directly on top of the bullet. And then zooming in, I can go ahead and scale this down. You notice my bullet size isn't actually changing. Just the appearance of it is. I can just scale this on the Y just a little bit like that to make it bigger, move it. Okay, now that that's kind of where I want it, I can go ahead and go here to the projectile, and I'm just going to disable the sprite render so it looks like that. If you want to, I can go here to the collider and I can adjust the collider size just to make it reflect the actual bullet a little bit better. Okay, so now if I push play, this projectile is now actually invisible and it's got a bullet image on top of it. Let's go ahead and push play. Let's see how that looks. Okay, that's looking all right. One of the things that I'm noticing is that the bullet's going behind things, and I would like it to stay in front. So right here for the order and layer, I'm just going to say you're on layer 10, and that'll keep it above everything else. Okay, looking all right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit Control S to save my scene. And then in the next video, I'll show you guys how to make that actually shoot.